everybody, welcome to the Sound Test Room. Today we're taking a look at Visual Synthesizer and using it inside of Cubasis. I mean, you can use it inside of anything you like because it's AUV3. It's a synthesizer for visuals. So yeah, it's been out for a while now. I've done tutorials for it in the past when it first came out. Lots of other people have as well. That track it's been out for ages as well. I did that ages ago. Thanks, Colin. Yeah, it was designed to sound like Tangerine Dream. In fact, I think it's actually called something like the Berlin Project or something. Synthmaster 2 Berlin. So every single instrument there was Synthmaster 2. The whole thing was made. Even the drums, everything was made with Synthmaster 2, because Synthmaster 2 is brilliant at stuff like that. Anyway, what we're going to do is be taking a look at Visual Synthesizer and how it basically we can set it up to react to music. So instead of using this one as well, let's go and initially set up some things super simple. Let's go with I'm sure there's kind of things in here that let's see. Oh, let's have a look at that lo-fi chill thing that I did the other night. And I'll just load this up. Okay, so you'll hear some hiss now because I've got some lo-fi effects going on. So basically this sounded kind of a bit like this. You probably remember it. Now, when we recorded this the other evening, if we go from here, and I'm just going to set up a kind of a loop point for now of this part here. This is the drums. Now, on that last track, I had Visual Synthesizer on the actual master mix here, so it was affecting everything, and I was using more audio modulation than LFOs. And I'll explain the difference to you now as we go through. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this one drum track here, just basic. And what I was going to do initially is I'm going to put in a bit of an EQ here, so studio EQ. So it's a little bit more present in the mix. And I'm going to apply an insert effect on just the drum track, and I'm going to use Visual Synthesizer so we can kind of run through. I'm just going to check here. So yeah, that looks pretty good as a loop point, and it looks pretty good as a loop point at the end as well. So I'm going to tap to add an effect here, go to audio units, and we'll go all the way down to the bottom here now, where Visual Synthesizer will be residing somewhere in the V's. So let's see. VS, there you go, Visual Synthesizer. So I'm going to put it on. Now this is the default. I'm going to make this full screen a sec. This is the default setting. You see it's this is one layer. Here is your color options for that layer here. They're pretty straightforward actually. Nothing mental. You have different settings and stuff, and you'll see that there are several controls that we have along the bottom here. See when it says trigger, we have no trigger set. All that is the fact that we can do this and it will respond to MIDI information coming in via your keyboard or whatever, so you can have the actual thing trigger. Now you'll see it's wibbling around like this. This is down to this thing called noise. We can turn the noise up. Now all these controls, they will change per element that you add. So there'll be different controls for different elements. I'll explain this. You can have up to 8 elements, and then this B element here, this is like a background element. So you have more control over the actual. Now, if you use too many elements, it gets a little bit busy unless you're kind of having them spread out, but I can show you that as well. Brightness, of course, is again kind of self-explanatory. We can leave it on full brightness. The speed, of course, is really, if you've got the noise going on, you'll see the speed in action there. You can have it really slow, kind of a negative value like that. Let's turn the noise off a sec. Radius, of course, we can make it super huge or ditchy tiny. And we'll leave it kind of about there. Glow, again, is kind of self-explanatory. You can make it glow more, which is nice. X and Y, we use X, it's going to move it like this, of course. So X and Y. And if we double tap, it'll return to center. And Y is like this. Double tap to return to center. Now you can modulate all of this stuff either on its own or with music. Now, of course, it's a visual synthesizer. It's nice with music. An easy way to do this. Now, across here, you have different controls. If you tap this first one here, you have your... and you can close it by doing this. So you can open and close here. This first one, there is your LFO, your 4 LFOs. So you have 4 LFOs here. Okay, then you have a waveforms for each LFO. I'm going to stick with sine for this one. Then you have an envelope here. The envelope's really nice if you're using it with MIDI control, but you know. And here over here, this is audio modulation. This is your audio LFO. It's called AM. It's audio modulation. This is where it responds to what's coming in. And there are a couple of cool things that you can have set up with your audio modulation. And then this one here, these are your amounts per modulation. So your 4 LFOs here, your 2 envelope generators, your 4 audio modulators, your keyboard modulation if you're playing, and the velocity modulation. So we're not going to be too worried about keyboard or velocity. I'm not even going to be too worried about LFO, but I will show you that now. So at the moment, you can see there are no values for any of the LFOs here, any of the 4 LFOs. And even if we add noise, that's an independent control against the LFO. You've got 3 sections. So this one you'll see is slightly brighter. And if we tap in the center, you'll get another set of options. And then if you tap in there, these are your destinations. So your LFOs, your envelope generators, and your modulation amount of modulation 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the keyboard and the velocity. This is the amounts that you can set, and these are the destinations for those amounts. So center page is speed, X, Y, and radius, and then last page is noise. You see noise, which we know noise does this. And if we bring up the amount of LFO1 for our noise, you'll see that the noise is now being controlled by LFO1, but not itself, you see. And we can give it a positive amount or a negative amount like this. And then the glow, we could set the glow to be controlled by that LFO as well, like this. And then if we wanted to make some adjustments to the actual LFO, all we need to do is go back to this page, and we know it's LFO1, like this. Oh, where's me? There it is. If we go back to our LFO page here, and I speed the rate up, you'll see. Now you'll see that the depth, we've got too much depth here because it's going bipolar as well. So if we go back into our LFO, our rates here, and we can kind of control the glow a bit better. But we need to actually make maybe some adjustments to our LFO. So let's have the square, so it'll just come on and off depending on the rate. We can have it set to key or channel. or 3. And then we've got other LFOs as well. But I'm not really, I want this to be more concerned with, so I'm just going to double tap to reset that. I want this to be affected by the beat of the music, so the drum, if you like. And we know that these are our audio modulations, right? So, for instance, let's see, we've got saturation, brightness, maybe speed and radius. So radius here is the amount of the size, like that. So we'll set that radius there. And what we'll get it to do is pulse with the drum. So if I engage the drums, you'll see it will do nothing at all. I'll go back to my LFO here, and there's I have a threshold here, you see. So if that threshold is above that limit, whatever I do in this audio modulation isn't going to affect it. But let's take it down to where it does. So let's we're just in the threshold of it being there now. So let's go back to our modulation, and we'll use audio modulation 1 to adjust the radius. Very nice. And again, if we go back again to our actual and we take it above the threshold, it's not going to do anything. So the more we want it to be affected is the more we can control the threshold or the gain. And the release. If we have a lot of attack, you won't really hear it because it's a sharp percussive drum. So we'll just have it in just about where it's been affected. And if we go back now, here, we could maybe use, well, we could use any of the other modulation sources because we have 4 in the audio modulation 1. So maybe we could, if we control the X amount with AM1 here, you'll see it start to move. Or maybe we could, but if we go to another page here, the hue, which is going to change its color, let's have that going with audio modulation number 2. So let's go to number 2 here. That's cool. There's another really cool way you can use the audio modulation as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So on this, it's not going to really make much difference, but I'm going to leave that on gate for this. I'm going to leave the threshold there. So every time actually we won't. We'll take the threshold up a little bit more. This is going to affect the actual color of the thing. So audio modulation 2, hue. Now it's changing color as well. Okay, so that's nice. So maybe let's add another element. And let's choose, well, there's lots to choose from, of course. Let's try this one here. And we must remember that when we select a new element, we need to turn it on. And at the moment, it's just doing its own thing. You'll see again, we have noise for this. If we turn it off, we've got this. And it's been affected by literally nothing but itself. We haven't applied it to anything. So if we do the same kind of thing, you'll see each one of these destinations is different for every single destinations and amount is different for each single element you have. It's like having an 8-layered synthesizer. So we can now make some adjustments for this second one. So maybe we could, let's see what we've got going on here. Speed, radius, it's in the last one, noise. Let's use one of the ones we've already got. Let's use AM2 to adjust the noise. Or we could do something else. Now this is also really cool, but if I have a look at the wave, so I'm going to double tap this. And I'm just going to solo it, so we're only seeing that one thing. Let's go back to our thing now. Let's go to number 3. So this is audio modulation number 3. And let's change this gate to spectrum. And here we can choose any point in the audio spectrum where we would like our element to be affected by the noise coming in. So let's go back to here. Now we know we're on AM number 3, so AM 3 here, noise, and it's on spectrum. And if we look at this this is dependent on the spectrum settings now. Wherever we have this set in the spectrum is going to be affecting. So this means that if you've got something that's got quite a lot going on, but you only want to choose the upper or lower frequency ranges, using the spectrum option on the AM modulate on the audio modulators is a really cool way to do this. Of course, it'll be different going back to gate. And spectrum, which is nice. Well, we'll leave that on that because that's pretty cool bananas. And we'll unsolo it. So that's kind of, and then you could just leave it on that, and it's just entertainment for you while you're messing with your drum pattern. But doing it on the overall mix is a lot of fun. So we'll take a look at the overall mix the way I set it up for this. But this is just kind of the basics that you can do for each layer. You can add more layers as well. So what we're going to do is we'll save this initial patch. Okay. So we'll just go in to our, when it says default here. Don't even need to do that. I'll just go to this here, and I'll save it as no, cancel. I'll just call this new and go save as new. And if we go in now to our local, there's my one from the other one. So that's the one we were messing with on the Tangerine Dream style track, which has 4 elements in it. Then we can go back to our new. So you're saving presets that will react differently to whatever piece of music you've put through. Now, like I said, I like using the audio modulation because it reacts more to the music, but you don't need to use the audio modulation. You can just choose, you could choose a factory preset if you like. You'd have to go in and see if any audio modulation was used, and I don't think it was. Some LFOs were though, obviously, but Perplexon had left the audio modulation alone because it would be dependent on the piece of music he was working on. So for yourself, audio modulation is really cool. Okay, let's go back to our local and new. Going to stop that now. Now, this was obviously just on the one track, so we can take that off there. Let's just go here, audio units, and we'll just remove it from the list. I could have just done that, couldn't I? So now there's nothing on there. But if we go down to our mixer here, and here is, this is good, there's not that many tracks, only 8 loops, but here is our outputs here, and this is our main outputs, stereo 1 and 2, which obviously I'm using from the back of the Steinberg. I'm going to go to edit, and we've got Tape Pro. I don't know if you remember, we did this on the iPod Tape Pro on the end of it to get that kind of really lo-fi vibe. We're going to add an effect now, and just like anything else, you just run your audio units through like this. You can go and search for your VS synthesizer. It's just called VS here. It's TUV, and there it is. So now that this has been applied to the entire mix, now I'm going to go to my local and choose new. Now this is the one that we've just made, but now this is going to be affected by all the audio coming into it from the track. So if we just kind of take all the rest of it away, as the track is playing, you'll see the difference that it makes having it affected. So I'll take solo off here, go back to the beginning of the track, I'll take loop off, excuse me, and I'll run the track with our new settings just to see the difference when it's been affected by all the audio coming into it, because we've got it on the master channel. And don't forget, it's all down to the thresholds. So very nice. Now, here's some of the cool stuff we can do. Okay, so we can open this up. So we know we've only got 2 layers. So layer 1, let me just close out the modulation. We don't want to get too deep into modulation because you know how it works. You can pretty much modulate anything that you like with it. But I'll just show you some of the other cool stuff. So we've got 2 layers, right? Let's solo this layer so we can see which one it is we're working on. And let's move that over to this side like that. So we can move it quite a way over. And let's unsolo it again. And let's choose this one this time. And we can move this one over here like that. In fact, I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to move this one even further. And then I'm going to choose another layer, a new one. I'm going to double tap on that. And we can add something that will just sit in the middle of the actual block that we've done. So let's see. So I think I haven't done any user materials. So let's see. That looks quite cool, doesn't it? That was my new one. Let's see. Something like this, that'd be nice. I mean, remember, at any time we add another element, or layer if you like, we need to actually switch that on. And this isn't going to be affected at all by the music. Now you hear that bass, when the bass comes in, it's quite good, because what we can do is we can try to set this center one up to be reacting more to the lower frequencies than anything else. Okay, so all we need to do for this is we make sure we're on the element we want to manipulate with modulation, whether it be an LFO or a what's it. You'll see that there is some movement going on here, so some glowing and some zoom it out a little bit more, and some speed. Let's slow the speed down. See, we can speed the speed back. Let's leave it like that. But what, actually, let's just reset that. And maybe use the speed to be, have it messed with. So what we need to do is make sure that we go in here, and we're going to use number 4, because I haven't used number 4 for anything at all. And I'm going to choose Spectrum. I'm just going to play from where this bass comes in. Actually, just let me actually make sure that where it is, that's where it comes in. So double bass, let me do this, boink, and so now I'm just really wanting to have it react to this bass. So let's see. Here it is. Now we need to actually give it an amount to react to. So let's see, we're on number 3. Let's go to our thing. We're on number 4. And there's where now, so we're going to be using number 4. What do we want it to do? Do we want the bass to make it change color, the saturation, the brightness? Let's go on the second page. The speed. Let's have it be the speed. So we're going to bring this up slowly as the bass is playing and just see what happens, and then we can go and mess with the spectrum. So at the moment it's quite high, so it's kind of just going all the time. So let's go back to our LFO. It's been just really affected by the bass frequencies. Modulation 3 to affect the color. Saturation and the brightness. Let's go back to the modulators, choose number 3. We could set that to gate now, which would be better. Needs to shift over a little bit, I think. So let's add something else. Let's add another layer. It's like a background layer now, see, or a kind of a filled layer. Let's just move that out of the way so we can get a bit more. So let's tap on this. We've got some clouds here. Like I said, you can have up to 8 of these and a background as well. Some really nice ones. I want something that's kind of, this might be nice actually, because it's going to be kind of more like around the outside. So you can kind of choose. Let's see what that one's like. Don't forget to turn it on. Oh yeah, let's see what that sounds like. Or looks like, if we like. I'm going to change the color of it here. So to change the color of anything, all I need to do is go into the color chart thing here, and we can, just scroll around and do that. It's quite nice. Yeah, and we've got speed. Again, speed, we could set speed to have be affected by audio modulation, which I guess we could do really easily and quickly. So we're selected on our layer number 4, and we're going to use, let me just quickly have a quick look around what we've got going on. So gate, so number 3 is gate, so that's cool. The gate is set quite low, so it's going to kind of just continually trigger the color sort of thing that we've got set up. So we need to give that an amount as well. So number 4, we're going to go into our modulation matrix for did I say it was number 3, did I? Yeah, we're already on it anyway. And the saturation, so the hue, we can let's see. And the saturation, we could maybe do like this, see what happens now when we play that. That's nice. And then the speed, we said we can have set. Let's have a look at, yeah, number 1. Audio modulation number 1 for the speed of it. So, find speed. Speed is here. Awesome. Okay, so guys, thanks very much for joining me this evening, where I basically showed you how to do cool stuff with Visual Synthesizer inside of Cubasis. Several different options. We did the first track with the Berlin School thing. What I'm going to do now is, before we go, I'm going to set this to full screen. We're going to play the entire lo-fi track as it is at the moment. I do feel I should add some more to that. I didn't quite like it. And you can watch Visual Synthesizer as we set it up from scratch here, doing its thing. Now, I really like this. I think it's, when you're listening to a track back, and you kind of, if I'm using, if you're mixing it and if I'm using the fader port, I don't need to see the mixer. I can mix, and it's nice to have visuals as well. It's just another kind of cool thing, isn't it? Anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining me this evening, where we took a look at Visual Synthesizer. I am going to set this back to be just playing the track. I'm going to take this down out the way for a sec and close that out. And I'll just run the thing through from the beginning. I'll close the microphone. Bless you all for joining me, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow. Ta-da! Visual Synthesizer by Imaginando. Awesome stuff. Let's go full screen, shall we? And let's also get rid of the controls.
just swap a preset out